Hi everyone, welcome back to the Laurelton Hall AP Environmental Science video series. In this video we're going to take a look at water pollution. A pollutant is any substance introduced to a system that can cause it harm. Therefore, water pollution is the contamination of any surface or groundwater supply by substances produced by human activities that have an adverse impact on organisms. Obviously, this is a very broad topic covering a wide variety of mini-topics with the potential to impact both aquatic and terrestrial environments. We're really going to look at water pollution as two primary categories to begin with: point source pollution and non-point source pollution. Sorry about that. Point source pollution is the easier of the two categories to deal with. In these cases, the source of the pollutant is obvious and distinct. For example, take a look at that factory pipe spewing the green goo. That would be point source pollution. Non-point source pollution is more difficult to pinpoint and control as it comes from more diffuse areas, such as an entire farming region or a suburban town. Non-point pollutants are much more difficult to control and regulate than point source pollutants. A very common non-point source pollutant is human wastewater. This is water produced by human activities such as bathing, doing dishes, doing the laundry, and flushing toilets. Obviously, we don't want this wastewater coming in contact with our drinking supply. Yuck! But this is easier said than done. Throughout much of the world, the same water source is used for all human activity. This presents a huge human health issue. However, environmental scientists are also concerned about wastewater as a pollutant for three major reasons. The first reason for concern is bacterial decomposition of organic material in the wastewater. This creates an enormous demand for oxygen, measured in BOD, or biochemical oxygen demand. BOD is actually the amount of oxygen a quantity of water uses in a specific time period at a specific temperature. As the microbes feed on the organic material, their population numbers increase. In turn, since those microbes require oxygen to decompose the waste, oxygen levels decrease. Low oxygen levels result in a condition called hypoxia, and aquatic areas with no free dissolved oxygen are referred to as anoxic. Both conditions establish areas known as dead zones, aquatic areas that cannot support life. The second reason for concern surrounds increased nutrient levels. Agricultural runoff can contain elevated levels of nitrogen and phosphorus, as can dish and laundry wastewater. In addition, bacterial decomposition produces nitrogen and phosphorus. You may recall that these two elements often serve as limiting factors on plant growth. With nutrients in high abundance, plant growth is accelerated, resulting in eutrophication. When the increase of nutrients is due to human activity, it is called cultural eutrophication. In eutrophication of any type, there is a rapid growth of algae, followed by an algal die-off. This die-off provides organic matter for bacterial decomposition, which ultimately leads to the formation of more dead zones. The largest known dead zone occurs seasonally in the Gulf of Mexico, although there are roughly 200 dead zones caused by pollutions worldwide. The third reason for concern is the influx of pathogens into the water system. Human bodies can shed numerous viruses, bacteria, and parasites into the wastewater. These organisms can survive in the aqueous environment, leading to outbreaks of cholera, typhoid fever, stomach flus, and diarrhea. Many of these outbreaks can be controlled with basic sanitation systems, but since most of the world lacks such systems, approximately 1.5 million people die annually from waterborne illnesses that could be prevented. In an effort to identify the presence of pathogens in drinking water supplies, scientists use an indicator species, in this case fecal coliform bacteria, to determine if disease-causing pathogens are likely to be present. Water use is determined by the amount of coliform bacteria present, with drinking water supplies having having a limit of no bacteria, whereas swimming spots can contain between 500 and 1,000 colonies per 100 milliliters of water, and boating areas can contain between 1,000 and 1,800 colonies per 100 milliliters of water. So this wraps up our introduction to water pollution. In the next video in this series, we will examine ways to process and treat our water supply. Thank you for watching.